Hi, this is Anna Imagination Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. If you are new to my channel, I am a psychologist, philosopher, and sociologist of 30 years. So I'm sitting here looking at all of this. I had this massive breakthrough about 2 days ago, and I'm putting it into my Triadic healing, and it's all coming together. It was like the missing link, and it's basically the economics section of Triadic healing. It's extraordinary. So I have this triangle, which is the compass. It's such a compass, and we have the nonprofit. I need to rethink this. Whenever you set out on a venture to make money, what you're really doing on a big picture is you are entering into the economic exchange of resources and how that relates to other people in the exchange. So there is a resource exchange, there is resources, and then there is growing it. And whenever you are building anything, you have to basically plan and then build, stabilize, and then once you stabilize it, then you can grow it or nurture it. And I believe I am creating a business breakdown of what you need to build your own business. But I'm in the early stages of it, and I'm finally here. It's literally the they of I. This is the they of I. Like if you were to look at the philosopher's compass, you've got the you of I, and that's all of my work. That's like the I of I. The I of I is yourself, your identity, your mental health, the 12 stages of growth so that you develop properly and healthy so that you're balanced. The U of I is your relationships. Yeah, this is it. I'm so happy with this. That is how you interact with your loved ones and how you interact with your parents and or your partner, your romance. That is your family life. The next one is the they of I, which is how you interact with your community, how you interact and exchange. So I've been studying the they of I now for the last 2 weeks, trying to piece it all together. And I finally, I had this massive comprehension of, oh, it's just economics and defining exactly what economics is. And I couldn't do any of this until yesterday morning, literally yesterday morning, when I realized the first ethic is self-worth. And that self-worth is literally what resources you have. And you have your own resources, you have your self-worth, what worth is, what value is, what profit is, what gain. All of this is the first ethic. And then the second ethic is resources. At least that's what Dr. Graves said. And now I'm looking at Dr. Graves' work going, no, it's not resources. It is communal exchange of resources. So in the first ethic, it's all about your self-worth and what your resources are, and you have to learn that you have resources. We do this when we're an infant. But if we have an over-enabling mother, we're going to not be able to count our own resources. We're going to think that our mother is our resource and that we don't have any resources. This leads to a lot of problems. So you then define the self as zero resources, so you need other people, or you need other people to need you, and that's your only resource. You have none. And then in the second ethic, it's you giving 100% of all of your resources to other people. In the third ethic, you're hoarding all of your resources for other people. And so it's figuring out and defining, it's literally defining your resource, and then it's giving all of your resource to a community. And then third ethic, it's pulling it back. I'm going to hoard all of my resources for me, and this isn't getting me anywhere. I need to share the resources. So that is the first three ethics, the first three ethical perspectives of self-worth, community resources, shared resources. Once you get there, now you're able to enter into a full community. When we do that, you realize right away, oh, we need rules. And then you go all the way over here with you need a lot of rules. And that's why we have rules. That's why we have laws. So we can regulate the resources. And then you figure out, you know what? I have my own ethics to do this properly. I don't need someone telling me what self regulation is. I can self regulate myself. And that's when you learn how to self govern. And then you come over here and you become the master of your own business. That's when you're a CEO and an entrepreneur and you're going, I got my own resources. I'm great. I can manage this. I don't need rules. But you realize that if you don't balance and manage with accountability, that you're going to hurt other people. That's when you start to develop accountability and you realize, wow, resources, when not balanced, can really hurt somebody. And that's when you sit right in this center of, all right, I'm going to go ahead and now give all of my resources to other people to make sure, and we did this before, didn't we? Where they all have what they need. I'm going to make sure everybody gets their share first. And I need to also make sure that I'm included in that because we're all equal. So now you're looking at an equal balance, an even balance, a healthy harmony of all the resources distributed evenly. And those are the first six ethics. The next stage is seventh, eighth, ninth perspective. And that's where you learn how to communicate, listen, learn, teach, negotiate. And that's where we all go over to that seventh, eighth, and ninth perspective. And then finally, the 10th, 11th, 12th perspective, that is when we learn how to get into emotional exchanges to transact and move and transfer resource A over to resource B. So once you have all of this, you literally have the philosopher's compass with all three parts, four parts technically, because you got that point in the middle. So you've got your four parts of your ethics, and then you're able to comprehensively trade and exchange your resources. So most of us have a problem with defining our own resources, and this is because our parents failed to teach us the first three ethics effectively with balance. So once you plug all of that in, it's an understanding of your self-worth, understanding a small exchange of you and one other person. So it's just you and one other person. But if you have just you and one other person and you haven't learned how to plug in your resources to a network, you're going to run out of resources. In most cases, and this is where everyone pretty much is, we're stalled out at the fourth ethic, is you've got this community between your partner and yourself. Maybe you've got children there and you've got this economic exchange going and you've run out of resources, which is why you are poor together, is because you have a closed network. You have to open the network. And in order to do that, you have to plug into a network with the they of I. In order to do that, you need to understand three primary things. You need to have a plan, you need to build, and then you need to stabilize your resources. And then once you're stabilized, you need to grow it. I ran into the problem of growing my resources before I built it or stabilized it. So now I went, oh, I need to just build it and then I need to stabilize it. And this is where a lot of people get wrong, is they have a plan and then they grow it before they've actually built it or stabilized it. Stabilizing it is when you actually have money coming in and you have the balance. The balance is all figured out. This is literally right here where it is. So to get to that point, you basically have to define again, we're back to the first ethic. What do you do? Where do you want to do this? Who do you help? And that's where you're basically tying in a third party into all of this to plan it. That's when you get your messaging up. That's when you get your marketing. That's when everything falls together. But the marketing goes nowhere. Everyone in the fourth perspective, everyone from the society who's gone to business school is going, oh, well, here's the formula. These are all the tools. And this is what's wrong with the world. Like, this is it right here. Is you have these people who are stepping out saying, all right, you're going to need your mission statement. You're going to need your business plan, and you're going to need your marketing. You're going to need your ads. You're going to need your brand. Those are just tools. They have thrown a chest down filled with tools in your toolbox, and you're going, okay, I got my tools. And that's it. That is it. No one is going anywhere else. It's just, here's all the tools. But you don't know how to use any of these tools. You don't know why. You don't know, like, okay, what do I do with these tools? And there's a whole lot of people, fourth perspectives, who say, just do this. Here's the instructions. And you have to assemble the tools. So you might be mindlessly following and parroting the law book or the rule book, but you really don't know what you're building. You're going, I don't get it. And that's because you lack the understanding and the theoretical comprehension of what's underneath it. So that's where we're going to step in and do this. So what you are really doing is you are putting together a network so that you can, using your authority, your power, your control, transfer via emotional transaction your resources from point A over to point B. And your resources could be teaching, services, it could be anything. So you plug that in and you need a plan. And that's it right there. You need a plan, which is your toolbox. And that is where it ends. And then you need to build it. Once you build it, you need to stabilize it. It is built off of what are your resources? What are their resources? And then it's entering into that network of exchange so that you have an emotional transaction that takes place. And this, the network, the community, is the emotional transaction. But a lot of people lack it because they haven't made it to the seventh perspective. So they're all going, I don't get it. Every now and then you get somebody who figures it out on accident, but they can't articulate it because they don't know because they're not there. They just got lucky, which is why every business owner I have spoken with, even if they're billionaires, cannot articulate how. I've been through it. It's extraordinary to watch. Where you just sit there and you ask them, how did you get rich? Well, I manifested. Okay, how do you do it? Well, I did this. Okay, could you articulate that? Could you lay it out? No one could explain it to me. One person actually did it, actually laid it out. One person. And I'm working with him. One person, and he's in my network. He finally was able to give me the key, and I went, aha, you have figured it out. He worked with Jay Abrams, by the way. So the mentor I've got who's mentoring me studied with Jay Abrams. And I'm going, all right. So he gave me one key, and that clicked all of this in. And then I discovered that the first ethic is self-worth. And I went, oh, it's an exchange of resources. It's economics. It's economics. You want to build a business, you're going to have to learn economics. And I'm out there going, okay, what is this? And everyone's going, it's finance. You got to learn finance. And I'm going, okay. And then everyone's going, money is energy. It's not. And I'm going, okay, so money is energy. It's not. And it's finance. No, it's economics. It is the exchange, the trade, and the identity of what resources are, what their value is, what their profit is. But we are taught in our society that a business has resources, a consumer has resources. We are not taught that you have resources. And the only resource that anyone is counting is money, which is why all of us are just going, okay, so I need money. I need money. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is the beautiful part. Money is fruit, and that is just one more resource. I have information and knowledge. This is a resource, and I created it from my brain. It is an infinite resource. And now I can start making things out of my infinite resource. You have infinite resources. Our RAS system in our subconscious mind, due to the preservation of resource mindset, it's called POR, P-O-R. That is funny. So the preservation of resource mindset, or the POR mindset, P-O-R mindset, has conditioned our RAS system in our subconscious mind to not see any resource other than money. So now you want to exchange into a business. You want to enter into a business transaction. Now, here's the thing. I'll talk to people and they're like, well, business is over here and relationships over here and the self-care is over here. And I'm going, stop right there. It's all the same subject. It's the exact same subject. The subject of business is the subject of relationships, is the subject of the self. It's just on a bigger scale. The self, this is what we're doing with the self, is you've got your resources, you've got your self resources, you've got your self unit and your self trade, and you've got your self exchange. And you're learning how to do this little economy inside your brain with your people. You're doing it with yourself. That is what self-care is. It is the networking of a resource exchange in a business inside your brain. That is self-care. And then when you have a unit, a relationship, a coupling, now you're doing it with two people, but it's a closed network. So it starts off with the self and learning how to do resourceful trade, barter, and exchange with the self, inside the self. And you have to get that going. You have to get that going. The first, second, and third ethic gets this going for you. Then you bring in a partner. And you say, all right, here you go. Let's do this. This is what my partner and I are doing right now. I have finally figured this out. He is over in his place, in his area, learning the same thing. So he's figuring out his first 3 ethics, and I'm over here figuring out my first 3 ethics. And when we're done, we're coming back together and we're going to have a closed network. And now it's going to be he and I back and forth learning how to do this resource exchange. And then we're going to start taking people and we're going to start plugging it into our network and growing and nurturing it. But first, we got to get the stable self figured out. Well, and then we're going to bring it together and create a closed network. So then this is what's going on is people aren't doing this with a self. They're just grabbing partners, and then you've got a closed network, and neither one of you knows how to manage and operate your resource economy. You have a self economy inside of your body. That is what I'm trying to teach people. You have a self economy inside of your brain, inside of your mindset. And if you don't have a healthy, nurturing self economy inside of your mind, you're not going to be a good partner for anybody or yourself because your network inside your brain is broken. It's not healthy. It's not stable. It's not defined. Define it, stabilize it, nurture it. You're set. Find somebody or a partner who's got the same network stabilized inside their brain. And then bring the two of you together and you've got a coupling. It's a closed network. Get it stable. Get it stable. Once you get it stable, now you've got a closed network, a closed economy between the two of you where you've got your economy, they've got their economy, and now you're connecting the economy, and now you've got something circulating happening. Now you can start bringing in other people and plugging into your network. Once you start doing that, now you've got a business, but you got to understand what's going on. Now, when you plug another person into it, that other person has to have the same thing. They have to have a closed network. My job is restoring the network inside people's minds so they can plug into this network and then tap into whatever network they want, whether it be relationships, whether it be their children, whether it be other businesses. You can't do anything if you don't have your closed network. You have an economy inside your head that is self-care. So it is plan, build, stabilize. And it takes your self-worth, your resources, and it takes understanding economic, your resources, and the barter trade exchange. That's it. It is the barter and the trade. But you have to first identify your resources. So you have, and then when it comes to the exchange, the third part, it's the transactions that occur. So resources, transactions. And then you're able to plug into the network and expand the network and get that growing. So when you are ready to start building your business, you have 3 areas. You have what is fun for your business, but not profitable. And it basically nourishes your resources. My podcast does this. It's fun, it's not profitable, but it is my resource nourishment. This is literally my laboratory. It's where I absolutely nourish my resources. It's fun for me. I love doing it. It's 0 profit, absolute 0 profit over here. But I'm nourishing a resource. Now, over here, which is my brain, over here on the other side of it, I have my networking. My networking is where I am plugging in. I am now transferring. And this is where a lot of people struggle. This is where people say, I can't get leads. It's because you can't network. It's because you're not networking efficiently. And there's good networking and then there's bad networking. And this is the part that no one can figure out because we were conditioned as our RAS system to divide and conquer and be isolated. And we were conditioned due to our RAS in that poor mindset of the preservation of resources. So when you try and plug into your network, it's not going to plug in. You have to first define your economy. I'm going to say the self economy. You have to define your self economy. A lot of people have not done this. If you have not defined your self economy, and this is your mindset, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to go nowhere. So you have to define your self economy first. And you have to literally create a cycle in that self economy of self definition, knowing what your resources are, and then nourishing in exchange to get good mental health. Once you have that stable, then you're able to start nourishing your resources. Then you have definition, basically. This is where you get definition. It's definition, resources, and then exchange. Over and over, it's definition, resources, and exchange. A lot of people lack definition. A lot of people lack resources. They just want to do the exchange. And then they can't exchange. They don't understand what's going on. They can't plug into people because they lack definition and they lack resource definition. They lack resources. So when I'm doing this, this is my fun, profitable, I'm nourishing my resources. I have my definition all set. That's the toolbox that businesses handle. They hand you these toolboxes going, here you go. And that defines the self without actually teaching you how to clear out and do anything else with it. They just hand you the tools, and it's like a worksheet without any directions on the worksheet, which is why a lot of it doesn't work, which is why so many people sign up for so many different classes and they go, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, what is this? The next one is the plugging it into a network. And in order to plug it into a network, you have to find, and this is where I don't like to use the word leads because that's the farming resource mindset. That's farming people. That's a Soylent Green. That's a Soylent Green mindset. And that is it. It's a Soylent Green mindset. I'm just going to put it out there. It's gross and it's disgusting, but hey, we need to deal with it. This is the Soylent Green mindset. If you are trying to network with a Soylent Green mindset, you're going to end up eating people. Soylent Green. So, yeah. So you have your networking, you have your transferring. You have to love the people. You have to prioritize people. You have to cherry pick quality people. That's what you're doing. That is really what you're doing. For me, I seek out doers and givers because I am a doer and a giver. And I know I'm going to be giving, and they're going to give back to me, and I'm going to try and one-up them in gratitude because that's what I do. And because I one-up people in gratitude, I want people who are going to try and one-up me in gratitude. Because if I don't, I'm going to be doing all the one-upping in gratitude. I'm going to be doing all the giving, and no one's going to be doing this. This is what my partner and I had to figure out. He felt unappreciated, so he withdrew his resources. And I was like, I feel like I'm not getting enough resource from you. I feel like I'm not being appreciated. Neither one of us felt appreciated. Both of us felt like we had no gratitude. And that is where things really started to fall apart. Then we started to realize, oh, it's gratitude, it's giving, it's love. Love is valuing someone without gain or profit. Love is value without gain or profit. And ironically, because the universe has a sense of humor, that's when you get gain and profit, is when you value without gain or profit. It's real weird, but it's true. And then once you have that, you have you have an open network now where it's now a trade of resources. It's very much a gifting. And that's just it's gifting. It's gratitude, which is why you hear a lot of them say, well, you got a gift, you got a gratitude. But it's like this. It's Calvin and Hobbes. It's his fault. I'm going to be good for Christmas for the wrong reasons. I'm going to be good so I can get more loot. That's not good. That's no. And that is how a lot of us do business. That is the mindset that a lot of us put into work is I'm going to be good for Santa so I get more loot. You've missed the point. You've missed the point. If you are trying to bring in business and get customers with the only intent of farming them for resources, you're going to have an unethical business practice and you're going to treat your customers like shit. And that is what is wrong with the old system, is they're farming customers for resources. Yeah, that's a really ugly truth, isn't it? Which is why when you buy a burger at a certain restaurant, you get real shit quality because they don't give a shit if you get shit quality. They just want your money because they're farming you for your monetary resource. Resource farms. And you can decide and you can choose to engage in a resource farm, or you can choose to engage in an actual healthy giving doing network. And that's the difference. It is your motive 100%. And you have a choice, Soylent Green or actual love people. But in order to do that, you have to prioritize taking care of people. Now, this is where we all get things stuck in our brains, and I'll tell you why, and I'll explain where it all comes from. You have to prioritize people. The toxic belief we were given is this. We are told that if you love people, it is wrong to take from them. We are told that we cannot do business with people we love. Love equals no resource exchange. That is fucking wrong. You want to know who came up with that rule? Narcissists who wanted to farm you came up with that rule. That's it. Love equals no resource exchange. I love you. I'm your friend now. You have to give this to me for free. I have had people say that to me 20 minutes after meeting them. I'm your friend now. You have to give this to me for free. Love equals no resource exchange. Do not do business with friends or family. I have no idea who came up with this aside from a narcissist, but this is the problem. So we associate business with taking resources without love. And that is the problem. This is why so many people have subconscious money blocks in their mind. Taking resources without love. I have a backwards way of thinking. I only exchange resources with people I love. My friends, I will reach out to them and say, I'm going to ask you for a favor, but I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to give you X, and I give them my resource. And there it is. I will never ask or take without offering first. And that is it. Never give or take without an offer. But narcissists condition us because they want you to be, it's literally the resource farm incentive. I am calling it that, the resource farm incentive. And that is where the core of love equals no resource exchange. Do not do business with friends or family. You taking resources without love. So now you've got givers who are going, well, I care about this person, so I can't take their money. You see how all of this is designed to serve the narcissist? Corporate America. This is it. So to fix this, we need to change our limiting beliefs. Only exchange with loved ones. Never give or take without an offering. Gifts come first. Once you get all of these things together, love is valuing without gain or profit. It's one of the things I absolutely love about my relationship is we broke down all of it. I mean, to bare minimum. There was nothing left. I'm sitting here like watching everything dwindle, and it was because we needed to do this. This is how we needed to grow. We literally separated, and everything between us fell apart. Everything vanished. Comfort, everything you can think of that's in a relationship, gone to the bare minimum. And I'm just sitting here going, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. We have nothing left. I get nothing from you. There's nothing here. We have reached zero. The next day I messaged him and we're talking, and he goes, why are you talking to me? I quit. I love you. And there's no reason for it. This is how I found out that love comes from nothing. I said, I don't know why. I have been trying to figure out this answer for 30 years. And I have decided that love has no reason, no resource, no nothing. It just is. It is without logic. It is without reason. And it is just existing from nothing. I don't know. There's nothing here. I gain nothing from you. I love you. It just is. And then the next stage, I entered into a stage of to value without gain or profit. And I went, oh, that's love. Oh, that makes sense. Which is why a parent loves their child. They value the child without gain or profit. But we have this resource farm incentive or the resource farm mindset that chunks all this up. And suddenly we're going, well, if you're living by the rules of POR, preservation of resources, and the resource farm incentive, then you are going to have a completely different mindset. And that's it. 99% of us, throwing that statistic out there, it's probably higher than that, is living and raised in a resource farm incentive with the preservation of resources mindset. And so we are either a giver or a taker within that cycle. And when you step out of it, when you realize, oh, I'm a giver and I'm being farmed for my resources, and love is value without gift, gain, or profit, I'm being farmed. You get out of it. And you get out of it. And that's why you use boundaries, is so people cannot take your resources. That is why it feels uncomfortable, is because somebody is taking your resources without providing energy back. And that's the problem, is you are not being refueled. You're not being energized. You're just being farmed. And it's like, oh, I'm a puppy on a puppy mill. Well, look at that. Really fucking horrible image, but it's true. You are a puppy on a puppy mill when you are being farmed for your resources. And that's fucking disgusting. It's really fucking disgusting. Yesterday, I had this moment where it all clicked, and all I could see was the matrix in my head when he wakes up and he's seeing all these humans in their little bubbles being farmed. And I went, oh, well, son of a bitch. Yeah, we're being farmed. We are being farmed. Well, I'm not. I got out. But if you're in the system, if you are in a preservation of resources with somebody toxic who's taking, yeah, you are being farmed for your resources. Boundaries, get the fuck out. Boundaries. Yeah, love is value without gain or profit. Like, wrap your head around this. And then I will give you an escape plan. I have an escape plan for you. So there's that. There's this. Once you really have this in perspective, and then it's all right. Now I want to plug into a network. Now, in order to plug into a network, you need to change the way you view people. Now, there are two kinds of people. I'm gonna put you right here in the middle. I wish I had a whiteboard on this. I need a whiteboard. I think if I start recording on Zoom and then I just do my little lectures there, and then I can I think I'll do that from now on, because I love doing my whiteboard. I just learned how to do that on Zoom. So you have a stick figure. You've got your person here in the middle. And then with your gorgeous little stick person, you have givers in the world and you have takers. Takers are the people who are in the POR mindset, P-O-R, preservation of resources, and they are the resource farmers. Okay? They are resource farmers. And when you have those people, you don't want to do business with those people, because they are going to draw out all of your energy, and they are going to drain you into a husk. They are husking you. You don't want those in your network. Now, the other is the giver. And these are the beautiful people. The givers will give to you before you have a chance to give to them. And because you are a giver, you're going to give right back to them. And then you're going to enter into this competitive one-upness of gratitude. Gratitude one-upness is the best thing in the world. I love gratitude one-upness. Now, this only applies to you if you are a giver. But if you're a taker, you're probably not going to be here because takers don't do this. You stop being a taker when you reach the fourth and fifth and sixth perspective. This is the beautiful thing. Every human being used to be a taker. Those are your third perspectives. Everyone had to do it. Everyone had to do it. It is part of growth. Everyone has to figure it out. And either you have the right chemical cocktail to figure it out, or you don't. And that's it really right there. You transfer from each perspective when you have the right cocktail. When you have the right proper balance of cocktail, you get out. You go to the next perspective. But you have to have the right cocktail. I have all that formula down. I can give it to you. You have your first cocktail for the first ethic. You have your another cocktail for the second ethic, and you have your next cocktail for the third ethic. You have to have a precise cocktail in order to move on to the next. The fourth perspectives have theirs. The fifth perspectives has theirs. Every one of you need a cocktail. And depending upon the amount of abuse is going to depend on whether or not you got your cocktail or not. If you didn't get your cocktail, you're going to get stuck. And that's bottom line what's going on. That is what is going on with the world. Is you've got a lot of first perspectives who never got the cocktail and they're stuck. You got another second perspectives. They did not get the right cocktail and they are stuck. You got a lot of third perspectives. They did not get the right cocktail. They're stuck. A lot of fourth perspectives around here. Fourth perspectives are the most. And not only do they not get the right cocktail, but they invented a gorgeous enabling system that keeps them from getting the right cocktail. Welcome to the fourth perspective societal. But now we have fifth perspectives, thank you millennials, coming in. And they're going, screw this shit. We've got the cocktail. And the fifth perspectives has figured out the cocktail. They figured out their cocktail. But now you've got a bunch of people who are first through fourth perspective and they're stuck because they don't have the right cocktail. Now, here's the problem. Education will give you the formula for the right cocktail, but you have to have education to do it. If you don't have the education, you're not going to figure out the cocktail. You literally have to become educated to get your cocktail. And it's a certain type of education. The fifth perspectives naturally figured it out because they have imagination and creativity. Most of them do. Because they have empathy and fear. You have to have that cocktail. That is part of theirs. Imagination, creativity, empathy, and fear. That is the fifth perspective cocktail. Now, not everybody in the fifth perspective, and this is why they're divided, not everybody in the fifth perspective has this combination. If you lack imagination and creativity, you're not going to go on to the sixth perspective. If you lack empathy and fear, if you lack empathy with fear, you're not going to go on, which is why we see a lot of fifth perspectives who are stuck at the fifth perspective is because they lack this cocktail. You need imagination, creativity, empathy, and fear. That is the cocktail for the fifth perspective. Once you have that cocktail, you go on to the sixth perspective. When you hit the fifth and the sixth perspective, that's when you become a giver. When you hit the sixth perspective, when you get the cocktail for imagination, creativity, empathy, and fear, you become a sixth perspective giver with gratitude. You value equality while you're learning how to do that. You are most likely a martyr at this point. That's the next cocktail, is to remove the martyrdom from you. That's really what each cocktail does, is it removes the weakness. So for the sixth perspective, their weakness is martyrdom. And that's what they need to remove from their system, is the martyrdom. Once you remove the martyrdom, you gain equality and you move on to the seventh perspective. So six perspectives almost always are martyrs. and self-martyrs. And they have a problem with equality. But you can't do this unless you have the first, second, and third ethic as well. So you need like all 12 cocktails to go all the way. You need all the cocktails. So there you go. This is it basically. So now that you are a giver, now that you are at sixth perspective and you're wanting to solidify your business, you're wanting to put everything in place, you're wanting to do network exchange, you want to make sure that your clients are a certain type. Now, if you have the mindset of, I'm going to farm customers, no, not going to work. But if you're over here with that sixth perspective, and you are in that sixth perspective concept of giver, gratitude, equality, love people, it's going to be a completely different kind of network. Now you can build a network. Now, here's the thing. When you reach the sixth perspective, end of the fifth perspective, you can network. You can start building and forming a community and a network. People who are in the resource farm mindset, the poor mindset, the cat versus the box, and the box won. What ends up happening is you can't get a network. Bottom line, if you are in the first, second, third, fourth mindset, you can't get a network, which is why they have 9-to-5 jobs. Is because they cannot build a network. So they have to work a 9-to-5 job. You do not get to be CEO entrepreneur until you learn how to build a network. But because they don't, because that requires giving and doing, they're not going to go anywhere. So they have a 9-to-5 job instead, which nurtures the whole cycle. They have to get sick of it to finally say, I'm getting the fuck out. So when I say it's their mindset that keeps them there, yeah, you want to get out of this mindset, you want to stop being poor, get out of the 9-to-5 job. It's for the resource farm mindset. In fact, employees are being farmed by employers. You see it now. So you have the 9-to-5 mindset. Now, how do you get people to jump in and take care of what you want if you can't network? You have to manipulate them, of course. You manipulate them with marketing. You manipulate them with psychology and with advertising, with FOMO techniques, with fear and pain emphasis. You manipulate them with bullying, with urgency. You see what's going on here? Our entire corporate America is built off of this resource farming. It's unethical, which is why people are like, this is garbage. They're treating us like shit. My employer is treating me like shit because they're farming you. I'm getting shit quality from this restaurant that's a fast food restaurant because they're farming you. I'm being told that doesn't matter if I'm mentally healthy or not. I have to come to work or they're going to make me homeless because they're farming you. You see an ad, you get into a business, they're giving you the shittiest quality and you've dropped $15,000 and they're not giving you anything that's useful because they're farming you. Oh, but they had a pretty advertisement, didn't they? Because they're farming you. This is why I left the system. Because the entire system is one giant resource farm. Now, your sixth perspective, you get out of it. Now you've got to learn how to build a network. But no one's been here before. No one knows how to do it. People are guessing. People are taking shots, trying to figure it out. There's a lot of trial and error. When you've got it right, you get 100% consistency. When you get it right, you get 100% consistency. So here's how it works. First, you have to define your worth, your resources. You have to take inventory of your resources. You have to know your value, which has been taken away from you because of the resource farms. Once you know your value and once you define your worth, now you can inventory your resources. Then you can see how this neighboring kingdom has their resources. But it's not about the resources, it's about the community, it's about the connection, it's about the love, it's valuing them with or without the gain. The gain and the profit and the reward is all about fruits of love. Gain, profit, and reward is all about fruits of love. Now, if you cheat the system and you farm people, yeah, you can definitely get more. But you'll get a billion times more if you are loving people without gain, profit, or reward. But don't assume that you shouldn't do business with friends or family. Don't assume you should take resources without love. That's when you give your stuff away. That's when you give things away for free and you never make any profit. You only should be trading and exchanging and bartering with friends and family. I do not do favors. The word favor is toxic. That is resource farm mindset. Favors have nothing to do at all. This is a toxic word that's been glorified. Humility and humble are toxic words that have been glorified. Righteousness is a toxic word that has been glorified, designed to shrink you, keep you small, keep you a farm. It's disgusting. And we glorify these concepts. Don't ever do anyone a favor. I can barter with you. I can trade a resource because I care about you. I don't want to take something from you and leave you at a disadvantage because I love you. And if you loved me, you would not take something from me and leave me at a disadvantage. I was talking to some very dear friends of mine in my community, and we love each other. Solid friends. They're in my think tank. And they are struggling with funds, as am I at the moment. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give you Trident Healing for free. I'm going to make you a case study. I'm going to go ahead and work with you. Don't worry about payment. And they came back and said, oh no, we're paying you. We'll figure out a way, but we got to figure something out, but we can't just take it for free. Boom. That's love. That's a strong network. Somebody who loves you will refuse to take something for free. Now, people have a problem with appraisal. Define the value. Define the worth. And this is where I've struggled. So that's where you negotiate. I've got this product. You want it. I have it. Let me ask you something. How much would you pay for it? What do you think the value is? Somebody at some point, a few thousand years ago, said, bartering in trade is falling apart. And we need a monetary system with a fixed value. I bet you $1 million that a narcissist who wants to farm people came up with that shit. I have no doubt that that bullshit was invented to manipulate for a resource farm. That has resource farm all over it. And I will tell you why. There's two logical fallacies. The first one is a bartering trade system fell apart. No. Two, if the bartering trade system fell apart, then why is the United States the only one not using it? Think about it. The only place in the entire world where they don't barter and negotiate is the United States. And I live in the United States. And that's where I heard it, was people going, oh, barter and trading fell apart. That's why we have the monetary system that's fixed. They use it in India. They use it in Asia. They use it in everywhere else in the world except here. It doesn't look like it fell apart. It looks like it's working just fine. I'm pretty sure fixed value is bullshit. So you can control inflation rates. So, Americans, we're going to go over how to negotiate, barter, and trade. But here's the best thing. When you learn boundary setting with friends and loved ones, it's not so scary now, is it? In fact, it's not scary at all because it's a negotiation of resource value with people who love you and they'll respect you. So you almost never need. Why is it scary? It's only scary if you're arguing with a stranger, which is exactly what a narcissist wants you to think. So, there's one more piece to this that's missing. I know it. And I got to figure out where and plug it in. And it literally is the stepping stone between where I am and actual money flowing in. I've got one more stone to find. One more stone. I'm going to manifest the stone and I will have it in about 2 hours. True story. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to manifest this missing stone. How do you turn? Show me the next step. That's what I manifest. Show me the next step. That is exactly what I say to the universe. I don't try and articulate all this bullshit. I just say, show me the next step. Yeah. Show me the next step. And then I open my mind and I abandon all prejudice and bias. And I just say to the universe, show me the next step. That's how I manifest. Show me the next step. All right. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.